Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Desawe in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. In the headlines this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Ghana Armed Forces says 7 illegal miners killed during invasion of Anglo-Gold Ashanti mines, insisting the illegal miners first fired at military patrol team.
Also the bulletin, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh to chair 8-member Constitutional Review Committee set up by President John Dramani Mahama with the expectation that they should finish their report within 5 months.
Later, we'll explore how society can help integrate children with facial disfigurement to ensure they attain their goals.
In sports, we take you back to Ivory Coast, the host of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, to assess the impact of hosting the tournament 1 year on.
And on the foreign front, Palestinian militant group Hamas hands over 3 Israeli hostages as Gaza truce begins. We have the details of these and many more stories, including sports and entertainment, coming up over the next 1 hour.
Let's delve into them, and starting from a very unfortunate note where some persons have been injured. So clashes between military guards and a group of miners have left about 9 people dead in the mining town of Obuasi. The miners, according to reports, attempted to invade one of the operational areas of Anglo-Gold Ashanti mine on Saturday night. Here is a report by William Evans Inkum and Nanaya Opoku.
Saturday night's clash at Kudo Shaft has been described as the bloodiest in the last decade. 9 people, according to reports, lost their lives after a group of local miners allegedly attempted to invade one of the concessions of Anglo-Gold Ashanti mine. Reports also say 8 people are receiving treatment at both Anglo-Gold and the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. One of the survivors, identified as Olu, has been sharing his ordeal.
We pleaded with them that we had no ill intentions, so they went away to receive a phone call. They later came with guns and started shooting at us. I got shot in the leg and those around me fell to the floor after being shot, and those around me were also shot.
Contention between some local miners and Anglo-Gold over restricted operational areas of the Anglo-Gold Ashanti mine has resulted in fierce battle over the years. In 2022, agitation over the release of one of Anglo-Gold concessions created uneasy calm in Obuasi, but swift intervention by the security doused an escalation. In 2023, scores of local miners were trapped in the Ariam shaft in an attempt to enter a restricted zone. Management of Anglo-Gold has directed workers to stay off unsafe areas within Obuasi vicinity in a circular intercepted by TV3. The Anglo-Gold Ashanti School has also been closed because of the escalation tension. Security has been beefed up in the town to restore order.
In a related development, the Ghana Armed Forces revealed that about 60 illegal miners on Saturday, the 18th of January 2025 at around 11 p.m. breached the Anglo-Gold Ashanti mine security fence and intruded at Côte d'Or Ram, aiming to enter the deep decline of the mines. A statement signed by the Director General of the Public Relations of the Ghana Armed Forces, Brigadier General Emmanuel Agrikwashi, noted that a military patrol deployed on Operation Halt 2 duties was fired upon by the illegal miners when the soldiers attempted to stop them from accessing the deep decline. Let's take you through some of the key excerpts of the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces And it reads that in part that the military patrol deployed on Operation Halt 2 duties were fired upon by the illegal miners. Troops returned fire in self-defense. The shootout led to the death of 7. Now we are hearing 9 illegal miners and left 1 seriously injured. The illegal miners were wielding locally manufactured rifles, pump-action guns, gas cylinders, knives, heavy-duty industrial bolt cutters, axes, and machetes. So the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces goes on to say that the remaining illegal miners fled the scene. A soldier hit by pellets from a pump-action gun was injured and treated. 6 pump-action BB cartridges were retrieved upon the people fleeing the area. So that's an excerpt from the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces regarding the development in the Obuasi mining town. We'll keep a very close eye on this and keep you posted subsequently.
Meanwhile, President John Dramani Mahama has ordered an immediate investigation to determine the circumstances surrounding the clashes and ensure that any individual found to have acted unlawfully are brought to justice. A statement signed by acting spokesperson to the president, Felix Kwachiofosu, expressed government's deep regret over the tragic loss of up to 9 lives. Government has meanwhile asked the management of AngloGold Ashanti to bear the medical expenses of the injured individuals and to facilitate the burial arrangements for those who have lost their lives. The statement further added that security agencies have been tasked to take prompt action to restore peace in the area and implement measures to prevent similar occurrences.
Right, let's go on to some other stories now. And one of our headline stories has to do with the Constitution Review Committee has been put together. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has established a Constitutional Review Committee in fulfillment of his promise to ensure the implementation of the constitutional review process. The committee, according to a statement signed by acting presidential spokesperson Felix Kwachiofosu, says that they will present their recommendations for constitutional amendments within 5 months for consideration by the government. The statement noted that the committee is expected to identify and address the gaps and challenges in the implementation of previous constitutional review work, which was done by the 2010 Constitutional Review Commission and the 2023 Constitutional Review Consultative Committee. The committee is also expected to engage key stakeholders to solicit their views on proposals for amendments to the 1992 Constitution and make actionable recommendations aimed at enhancing democratic governance in the country. The statement added that the composition of the committee underscores President Mahama's desire to engage individuals with proven expertise, dedication to the service of the nation, and commitment to good governance to manage the process. So let's take you now through the key individuals who make up the committee put together by President John Dramani Mahama. And it is being chaired by Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, who is a member of one of the founding members of CDD Ghana. So clearly someone who is already known within the space of policy. So Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh is chairing the committee. Justice Sufaya Adinyera is a member of the committee. Professor Kwame Kakari is also a member of the committee. Mrs. Charlotte Osei, a member of the committee. Dr. Godwin Jokoto is also a member. And then we have Ibrahim Tanko Amidu, who also is a member. The rest are Dr. AC Ansa. She is a member of the group or the committee. And then Dr. Reina Akumpegia, who is also a member of the Constitution Committee put together to review the 1992 Constitution. Now let's seek further perspective on what exactly our expectations should be following the formation of this committee by John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. Joining us on Zoom now is John Kwame Quayson, a lawyer on constitutional governance matters. Thank you, sir. Good evening to you.
Good evening, my brother.
Before we even talk about the specifics of the individuals who form the committee, talk to us about the move by President John Dramani Mahama to at least put action to his words and promises that at least now we are going to see some action on the review of the 1992 Constitution. What are your thoughts?
Okay. First of all, I think it's a welcoming news. Some of us are so happy to hear that at least just within 1 month of Mahama's second regime and administration, he's brought out his intention to begin with constitutional review. This goes to mean that when we criticize him, he listened, because he was vice to Atta Mills when Atta Mills started this, and we all expected that he would have carried through the remaining part of the review at the time. Nonetheless, we are happy and we welcome that. We congratulate him too also on that. But foremost, I feel that the composition of the membership is worrisome. Number one, the numbers, okay, are woefully inadequate, and also the categorization and composition of it. I would have wished at least after 33 years, we take our time to really reorganize ourselves and go through the serious matters that confront us as a country. And with that, we can't just have 8 people to handle our fate. I would have wished that at least we have members from the key groupings, like members from Judicial Service, members from GBA, members from UTAG, you see. At least, even if we have about 50 people on the committee, the better for us all. Because in the 1992 Constitution, we had fewer people, and then in the end, we realized that most of the things were imposed on us, and the citizens didn't have enough input. When you have a committee, you may make suggestions and so on and so forth, but in the end, it is the dictate, you see, and the inclination of the members on the committee that will hold sway.
Right,
and
but
also
Mr. Kwesi, sorry for cutting you, but I mean, if you look at the composition, and I'll probably want to run through quickly, and top of my head, we know some of these key individuals and maybe the groupings they may be coming from. So, for instance, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh indicated is someone who's been dealing with policy analysis, CDD Ghana. You know, they are a civil society organization, so it could be simply assumed that maybe he's representing civil society. We also do have at least Justice Sophia Adinyura, who is a justice of the courts, so clearly someone representing the judiciary, more or less. And then key members, I mean, Professor Kwame Kakari, we can also safely say he's within the media and legal, the media space, so he also will be bringing some expertise on board. Plus, even if we are going with your saying that these numbers are few, this process has been ongoing for a number of years now, from very large groupings to probably this is the number the president believes can fine-tune all the wisdom that has been collected generally. You still stand by your position that we needed more than the 8 members?
Exactly so. Some of us have had the opportunity of sitting on some constitutional reviews, okay? In the end, the membership of the committee and what they decide is what is going to bind the rest of the country. Coming from this background and the challenge that we may face, let me give you an instance. In the 1992 Constitution drafting, we had the chairman being Professor SKB Asante. Himself was a lawyer and also a chief. Go through the 1992 Constitution and see most provisions were allotted or allocated to chiefs and chieftaincy in Ghana. You see, so to avoid some of these, we are of the opinion that instead of people coming in their individual capacities, let's give the opportunities to groupings. Ghana Bar Association, bring 1 person.
Right.
Teachers Association, bring 1 person. I mean, in the end, let's try and get some larger number of assaults.
Right.
To possibly do away with some of the inclination.
Okay.
Already people are reading meanings in a way that Madame Charlotte was saying, and then also the secretary to the committee are coming directly from the NDC, or they have their inclination to the NDC.
Okay.
You see? And then also the numbers being few, they will not be able to represent most of the
nation. Okay.
the concerns and issues that confront us as a country.
All right.
People may come with views, they may come with contributions and so on and so forth. But in the end, let's say you are from the media.
Prof,
you send your contributions.
We
they
have
will
to
decide
limit here.
to take it or not.
Okay. Thank you for your thoughts. Certainly it's part of the general conversations we need to have as a country, and wait to see what the 8-member committee will be putting together for us as a country. But thank you for your thoughts this evening.
Right, Martin. We are still staying on the constitutional review, and former Majority Leader Osei Mensah Bonsu has suggested a comprehensive review of the entrenched provisions of the Constitution, followed by a referendum to save costs and time. Speaking about the work of the previous Constitution Consultative Committee, Osei Mensah Bonsu expressed his agreement with the proposal to decouple ministerial appointments from parliamentary work. He spoke to my colleague Mawina Igbeta earlier this week.
And if the president appoints a member of parliament as a minister and the person accepts it, that person should be a vacancy in that regard for
fresh elections to be conducted.
Fresh elections to be conducted. And I will tell you, when we get there, people who go to parliament would want to be career members of parliament. And if we have career members of parliament, it will really help us to grow our democracy. President Mahama is saying that he's going to go to the next level of submitting the findings to the interrogation of a cross-section of Ghanaians, which is what was going to be the next step for this consultative committee review. My personal view is that the previous one said we should look at maybe the entrenched provisions and non-entrenched provisions. Non-entrenched provisions, we know how to deal with them.
Right.
But the entrenched provisions, if you have to deal with them incrementally, you can't put, provisions that don't speak to themselves in one basket and say, let's have a referendum on it. It will be allied provisions that we put in one basket to deal with, right? In that regard, why not, in that case, have a comprehensive review, which then would maybe result in will be encapsulated in one document. Then we say that this is a new constitution, so to speak. And we have a referendum on that one. And to save costs, we could even tie it to maybe a disassembly election, or maybe the next succeeding general and presidential election, and vote on the document. So once we vote on it and we agree as a nation, then this current one will cease to exist. It takes its place.
President John Dramani Mahama is leading a quest to bring finality to the 2005 killings of Ghanaians in the Gambia under the leadership of former Gambian leader Yahya Jammeh. Dozens of African migrants, including Ghanaians, were massacred under the orders of Yahya Jammeh. President John Mahama says that Ghanaians are eager for justice, as Gambia has initiated a process to investigate the matter.
We know that there are many other processes that need to be gone through, including bringing people to justice for crimes that were committed in the period of President Jammeh. Ghanaians were involved. As you know, some of our countrymen were killed here in the Gambia. And so we're happy with the process that is going on to establish the truth, investigate what happened, and also to bring people who did that to justice. We discussed issues to do with the sub-region, how we can take advantage of the free movement of people and goods, how we can take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We discussed issues of security in the sub-region, including what is happening in the Sahel, and how we can work as a sub-region to make sure that West Africa is a safer place for all our citizens.
Imagine being denied an education simply because of your facial appearance. For 5-year-old Covenant Wolanyo, this is not an imagination, it is his reality. Here's a report by Portia Gabo. Viewers are warned that pictures coming up could be disturbing.
5-year-old Covenant Wolanyo was born this way.
Since I gave birth to him, he was like this.
How did you feel when they gave your child to you?
I was like, Jesus, oh my God, this is my son. And he said, yes. And then I have nothing to say. The only thing I have to say is, oh God, if you have given me this, please take me through. That's it.
Some people call him cursed, but to his mother Letitia, he's a perfect human being.
One day there is this woman who visited our house here, who told my grandmom that who will give birth to a child like this? He have never seen something like this before. And it's only children that are cursed and things that they give birth to them like this. And even the moreover, they even to do some arrangement and then give them out and then throw them away. Then that's it. And I was like, I gave birth to my thing. He's mine. And she can't decide for me. I decide for myself. You'll be praying to God. If your own come, just throw him away. But for him, he is mine.
He wants to go to school, but has been rejected due to his appearance.
I can pay for everything, but all depend on the children. Because some of the children, when they see him, then they are scared. Then they will start crying. So when I introduced him to the kid the first day, they were all crying, scared. Some were shouting seriously, like they were making noise. And then I was like, he can't, because he said him himself, he was like, he'll not go inside, he'll go home. Because they are crying and stuff. How is he going to communicate with them and then play with them?
As a result, his mother has opted to be his personal teacher.
M-N-O-P.
Due to stigma, he plays with his relatives and mostly keeps to himself. But one of his favorite things to do is to climb trees. So how can children like Covenant with facial disfigurement enjoy their fundamental human rights without facing stigma? I first met Covenant about 5 years ago. He was due to undergo surgery at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, but the procedure has been delayed due to the complicated nature of his condition. His mother Letitia tells me he will soon undergo surgery.
For now, things are complicated for him, so we are trying to arrange new things so that we can see whether the doctors will do surgery for him now. So now we are on that process.
Facial disfigurement can affect a child's self-esteem and mental health. A conscious effort needs to be made to educate society to accept children who look different. Every child deserves to be educated regardless of their physical appearance. Portia Gabo, TV3 News.
More news this evening. In a world where age is just a number, 8-year-old Kartumi Ndebugri, also known as Chief Kat, is using her mother's kitchen to cook dreams. From baking cakes to preparing the latest culinary dish, Chef Kat is proving that mixing good ingredients is a recipe for success. There is more on this report.
Hi guys, my name is Katumi Ndebugri Isa, also known as Little Chef Kat.
Her passion for cooking began while observing her mother in the kitchen.
I started cooking and baking at age 3, so when my mother is cooking or baking, I'll be watching her and I feel like joining her.
I discovered that each time I am baking, she also wants to bake. I gave her the opportunity to try something. So sometimes I'll just give her a small flour and a bowl to make something and she'll mix it for me.
So today I am going to prepare banana cake for you. So our ingredients are banana, Oreo cookies, vanilla essence, eggs.
Unlike most children her age, Chef Kat juggles going to school and running a booming baking business with her mother's guidance.
In future, I want to become a medical doctor. The baking and cooking, I will open a school for children who want to learn how to bake and cook.
At her age, sometimes she can decorate mini birthday cakes for her friends. Her school, when they reopen, she'll bake welcome cake for them. She's been getting up for birthday cakes and dessert setup, wedding dessert setup too. She's been getting orders for that.
And when Chef Kat steps on the kitchen stool, you sure know she's about to conjure a sweet culinary masterpiece.
Now we are done smashing them. This one is for me.
She started a baking and cooking academy to share her baking knowledge with her friends.
I told my mother that I want to open a cooking and baking club so that I can teach my friends how to cook and share my recipes. So Saturdays or Sundays, maybe weekends. So when they come, I teach them how to bake and cook.
One of her ultimate dreams is to bake and cook for Ghana's first female vice president.
Coconut flakes, coconut flakes. I would like to cook for the president and his vice, especially the vice president, because she's a woman. She inspires me a lot. Let's put it in the oven because it's very hot, and let's be careful. Now, let's wait for 40 minutes.
As the cake bakes in the oven, Chef Kat takes a moment to prioritize her faith as a Muslim, joining her sister for prayers.
She one day walked up to me and then she was like, "Are you sure I can do this?" And I was like, "Do it. I can become what I want to become. So the only thing I do is I'll just keep quiet and then give her a listening ear so she feels like, okay." Then I'm like, "Yes, you can do it."
With the cake finally done, she takes a step back, admiring her handiwork.
It smells good. Let me try it.
Next time you attend an event, Chef Kat may just be at the table waiting to serve you. She's proven that baking is not just about mixing ingredients and following a recipe, but also about sharing love and memories that will last.
Kat, you are amazing, okay? Keep being amazing, and we all love you. So don't stop being a good girl, okay? I love you too, Kat and hug.
Well, kudos to little Chef Kat. Now, in recent times, Ghana has seen a surge in the vandalism of statues, one that has sparked debates about their significance and preservation. Christian Yale recalls some monuments of controversy and explores the considerations that must guide their construction to reflect the values and histories of the people they are meant to represent.
In December 2018, a statue of Mahatma Gandhi, an Indian independence leader, was removed from the University of Ghana campus. A 2016 petition by some lecturers at the university claimed Gandhi was racist, sparking a controversy that led the government to relocate his statue. The removal of the statue from the university's recreational quadrangle satisfied thousands of people who said they were standing up for their dignity. Outside Ghana, similar circumstances led to a massive Rhodes Must Fall protest at Oxford University. Thousands of people demonstrated beneath the statue of Cecil Rhodes and forced the removal of his statue due to his connection with the country's colonial past. On August 31st, 2024, a man identified as Niwol Gavu destroyed the bust of the Big Sis at the Kotoka International Airport roundabout.
Barely would you hear of a story such as this, but just to cast your mind back a little, the Big Sis are leaders who are part of the United Gold Coast Convention, UGCC, a political party that was formed to advocate self-government.
For a statue with such history, many have wondered why a citizen would take such an action.
Even before the NPP government will be moved office, someone made an attempt to remove the Big Sis statue at the airport because of the contention over founders and the founder. This debate has not been kind of resolved, and based on that, people who feel aggrieved that the Brics were not people who brought this country's independence and that it was in Nkrumah, that was a revisionist history, and they do not want Ghana's history to be revised, and as a result, they went after the Brics statue at the airport.
The list of desecrated statues grew after some individuals damaged a bust of Economic and Organized Crime Office boss COP Mamitiwa Adudankwa on the day of President Mahamat's swearing-in. A few days later, the controversial statue of former President Nana Akufo-Addo was completely vandalized after an earlier unsuccessful attempt. That monument had been at the center of debate and was described as self-glorification by his critics. Many have questioned the considerations that should be made before erecting such monument.
Those who normally put up some of these statues in the antenna were often identified as tyrants. When consultation goes into it, for instance, we have Obechevilemte Circle with Obechevilemte's statue. You have Dankwa Circle with Dankwa statues. Nobody goes about desecrating these statues because people understood the historical relevance of these individuals. When you are a leader and you want to put up some of these effigies, some of these statues, critical thinking must go into it, and it must not be a partisan. A committee of historians must be brought together to study the historical relevance of the individual.
In 1961, the statue of President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was first damaged in a bomb attack by opponent of his regime and was then toppled shortly after the 1966 coup that ousted him. Between the past and the present, the conversation on the vandalism of statues highlights the importance of inclusivity, cultural sensitivity, and historical accuracy. Christian Yale, TV3 News.
Do let us know what your thoughts are on the many stories we've already brought to you, and in the comment section we'll be happy to share it with the rest of the world. Now, the deteriorating state of the Effigjase Roman Catholic cluster of schools in the Ashanti region is putting the lives of teachers and pupils at risk. Stanley Niblewu reports that the pillars supporting the school structure are dislodging from their positions while the classrooms are marked by craters. There's more on this report.
The Effigjase Roman Catholic cluster of schools serve pupils in Effigjase and its catchment areas. The school, established in 1958, has not seen any major renovations. Its infrastructure has been deteriorating over time, posing danger to both pupils and teachers. Some of the pillars supporting the structure are completely broken, while others are gradually detaching. All classrooms, including those at Effigjase RC Primary B, which houses students from kindergarten to junior high school, have significantly deteriorated. Teachers report that the roofing leaks whenever it rains. School authorities are deeply concerned about the situation.
The buildings are not good enough. Apart from my KG2, Primary 1 and Class 2, the rest of my classrooms are very, very, very deteriorating. And it's a death trap to my learners, as we say. Whenever it's about to rain or when there's cloudy, Master, I just pray to my God that something miraculous should happen.
School authorities have been trying to address the situation by fixing ceilings in the classrooms, but progress has stalled. The head teacher of the school, Antonia J. Bunsu, lamented that the school's capitation allocation is inadequate to give the school a much-needed facelift.
The capitation grants, 70% of it should go for learning and teaching. Yes, that you have to buy teaching and learning materials, 70% of them, including in-service training. You can't use a 30% to buy one bag, even one bag of cement. Even fixing a door just yesterday cost about 700 to 800 Ghana cedis. You have been asked not to use such amount of money for such a project.
Despite the challenges, teachers remain committed to delivering their best. The head teacher has one request from the central government.
If the building are pulled down, including that of my KG, and the new one is built, Master, should I die, my soul will just be in heaven.
In 2017, a classroom wall collapsed in Breman Jamra in the central region, tragically killing 6 kindergarten pupils. A swift intervention could prevent yet another potential disaster. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Efijase, Ashanti Region.
This is still News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have many more stories for you after the break.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, Soft Care always stays with you.
New Soft Care Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
Soft Care. Protect your leap.
Ghana coming out again, the same squad. For the ball, he's got it! Throw it down, King!
Sports Station now shows on Mondays at 9 p.m. on TV3.
Thank you for staying with us on News 360. Let's now bring you some more stories. President John Dramani Mahama has said he would need the support of the Asantehene in reviving the ailing Ghanaian economy. He made these remarks when he joined hundreds to celebrate the first Grand Akwesi Day in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi.
President John Dramani Mahama first joined Christians at the Ebenezer Worship Center, where he had his Sunday service. President Mahama received a rousing welcome. He seeks divine wisdom and support of the Christian community in developing the country.
Na ehia edumadin ehia kokodro ehia ekabom ehia se yina besom na etimi apega enti ya cherekom ya 40-day fasting and prayer.
The president of the Fourth Republic, month ago, he visited Menchia as the leader of the largest opposition. Today, the story is different. He led the country in 2012, and now he's back again to reset the Ghanaian economy. A massive endorsement echoed at every corner of the Menchia Palace for His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama. He courts Asantehene support and that of Asanteman to revive the ailing Ghanaian economy.
Nation Ghana is facing a dire economic crisis. While this is not the first time that we have been in such a crisis, this particular crisis, characterized by a high rate of inflation, macroeconomic instability, a depreciating currency, and above all, a debt default which has shut us out of the international credit market, is a more daunting challenge than we have ever experienced in our history. Your Royal Majesty, as President between 2013 and 2017, we faced macroeconomic instability. And I remember that at the time, some of the times we had obstacles in our way of bringing stability to our economy and restoring economic growth. I had the privilege of calling on you to use your influence and diplomacy to smoothen the path so that it could open up the path towards prosperity and progress. And at the time, anytime I called on you, you did not hesitate. And I wish to thank you for the cooperation that I enjoyed with you at that time, and to publicly acclaim and acknowledge that some of the economic progress that we achieved in that period was due to the work that you did.
In more news tonight, the 11th Mechanized Battalion of the Ghana Armed Forces in the Upper East and Northeast regions has been commended for its efforts in ensuring peace in Boko and Wale. The unit's maiden celebration of the West African soldiers' social activity. Troops were urged to continue their selfless sacrifices, devotion and dedication to serving the country. Upper East Regional Correspondent Castro Senyala has more on this following report.
The West African Soldiers' Social Activity is an annual event organized by all units of the Ghana Armed Forces to mark the end of the year. As part of this year's celebration, the 11th Mechanized Battalion commissioned a quarter guard at its Abiba Barracks in Bolga to enhance its operations. Addressing the gathering, Commander Rear Lieutenant Colonel Kakra Sasu Entry thanked several partners and troops for their contributions in restoring relative peace to Boko and Wale.
I would like, on behalf of the Chief of the Defense Staff, the Chief of the Army Staff, and the General Officer Commanding Northern Command, say a big thank you to all the troops deployed at Kulungugu, Polamakom, Boko, Tili, Bazua, Bolga, Paga, and Sandema. Same sentiment of Ayiko goes to the troops in Chepone, Bumprugu, Gambaga, and Wale.
The General Officer Commanding of the Northern Command, Brigadier General Frank Ter, lauded personnel for ensuring peace before, during, and after the 2024 elections.
All of you, 11 Mechanized Battalion, as well as the Joint Task Force in Boko, for the great work that you have done. They've also asked me to thank the security services, and in fact, you, the locals who have been invited, you comported yourself very well during the elections and throughout the past year.
The resurgence of the Boko chieftaincy conflict has led to the loss of lives and property. The Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Ayaraga, commended the military for its efforts in addressing the situation.
I would like to thank the General Officer commanding the Northern Command and the Election Task Force led by the Regional Police Commander for your instrumental leadership that facilitated peace in the entire region. A call from the General Officer commanding the Northern Command, who told me in no uncertain terms that rest assured that Boko will hold its election the same day as every other constituency in this country.
Traders at the Kotokraba market in Cape Coast say they have put measures in place to prevent any fire outbreaks at the facility. Correspondent Thomas Khan visited the Kotokraba market to assess the mood of the traders following recent fire outbreaks at some markets across the country.
It is about 9 in the morning and business for the day has just begun. Traders are seen displaying their wares to attract prospective buyers. Some traders who interacted with the news team expressed concern about recent reports of fire outbreaks in other markets and said they do not want to experience the same at Kotokraba market. The Queen Mother of Kutukraba, Nana Araba Achre, said they are collaborating with the Ghana National Fire Service and the Cape Metropolitan Assembly to avert any disaster.
And the Gomofono so baby Yaswayazan. If you were what as a gas, I by sending them.
We have to take care of the stores that have electrical wires and make sure that gas is not kept in them. So we are pleading with everyone to comply with the regulations to avoid fire outbreaks.
The fire officer in charge of the Kutukraba Market Post, DOP Jonas Upoku Amankwa, said a lot of engagement has been done with the traders to sensitize them on how to prevent fires in the market.
Access is very, very worrisome, and the nature they construct this market is not what we've been seeing around at the moment. Yep, there are a lot of changes have taken place, but it's like we are not the authorities in this market. We are here to ensure safety, but we're doing our best to advise how best we can cater for all this blockage.
The Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly's representative and supervisor of the market, Joseph Mino Efu, said the assembly had conducted extensive engagement with traders to close earlier than usual.
In accordance with the security agencies in the metropolis, have come together to put up a team that supervising or looking after the market day and night to make sure that this fire thing doesn't happen to Kutukraba market.
The Central Regional Commander, ACFO Mirinda Mary Atiga Mensah, says they have rolled out measures to prevent fire disasters. She said that access to most markets and more functioning fire hydrants remain major challenges that need to be addressed.
We educate the security men to how to go about any fire outbreak, or if they see anything that is not efficient, so they can report. We leave our numbers to them. We have leaders in the various groups that they liaise with each other. We collaborate with the police, even in the night, so that there wouldn't be any fire outbreak.
She however called on the public to see fire safety as a shared responsibility.
This is News 360. Let's now bring you some sports news.
Let's do sports now. And a year ago, Ivory Coast hosted the 2023 Afcon and went on to win the coveted trophy. Rekwampafo, who covered the continental showpiece for 3 sports, went back to Ivory Coast recently to assess the impact of hosting the tournament.
A year ago, I was here in Ivory Coast for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. More than $1 billion was invested by the government to ensure the tournament is a success. They built 4 new stadiums and renovated 2 others. In addition, airports, roads, hotels, hospitals were all either built or reconstructed. I'm back here to assess the impact of hosting the Afcon, exploring how the football economy has benefited a year on.
The 2023 Afcon is often described as the best in history. It literally had everything from a catchy official song to incredible goals.
Kenny Cross, it's a great ball, it's a goal!
To upsets.
All the set pieces for Mozambique. Decent one to the back post. Oh, it's a goal!
To funny moments. To host Ivory Coast winning the ultimate.
There they are, the champions of Africa. Cote d'Ivoire.
Ivorians will never forget the feeling of seeing their heroes lift the gold-plated trophy at the Olympic Stadium of Ibimpe. However, the benefits of hosting the continental showpiece go beyond just the euphoria.
Just about 10 months ago, this stadium, Stade Félix Houphouët-Boigny, hosted the third race playoff between South Africa and DR Congo. Now, some months later, it's the home for Stade d'Abidjan, who are getting ready to face Orlando Pirates in the CAF Champions League.
Clubs like Stade d'Abidjan and ASEC Mimosa have benefited from the world-class infrastructure during this season's CAF Interclub competitions.
In February, ASEC play match of Champions League. There will be 10,000 supporters in this stadium. It's not a record, but it has been a long time ASEC play in front of 10,000 people. We are working in order all the club will benefit of new supporters or older supporters in order to make a good impact for local sports.
A year later, the stadium facilities exude a fresh, vibrant energy. The grass is a rich verdant green, and every aspect of the infrastructure remains pristine, including the impressive 24 state-of-the-art training centers.
But the question begs, what do they do to ensure that the stadiums and the training pitches that were built are maintained? There is an organization called the ONS, Office National des Sports, which was created in 1980 with the express purpose of managing the sports infrastructures here in Côte d'Ivoire. As such, they handle the availability of the pitches that were built and rehabilitated in time for Afcon. And this organization is supervised by the Sports Ministry and the Finance Ministry. They collaborate closely with the Ivorian Federation FIFA on the use of the pitches for matches in, for example, the top 3 divisions.
The biggest thing for me is how do we ensure that this stadium breathes? You know, how do we ensure that these events are taking place? You know, must commend Côte d'Ivoire, they've done very well. Even when we arrived, I could see that they were very well organized. They know exactly what they're doing.
In the past year, Ivory Coast has hosted a number of World Cup and Afcon qualifiers of countries who do not meet the standard infrastructure requirements for sanctioned matches, a move that has boosted tourism in the country.
The country's image has improved and goes in line with the Sublime Côte d'Ivoire initiative to develop tourism. Since Afcon, the contestants, for example, of Miss France came to Côte d'Ivoire, and this was the first trip that they made outside of the French territories, so it's a history for this competition.
With the football economy rapidly growing, young talents in Ivory Coast have been one of the biggest beneficiaries. After winning the 2023 Afcon, Ivory Coast has become a hotspot for talent as scouts from across the world have in the past year visited the country in a bid to unearth the next big African star.
Well, I was here last year for the Afcon, watching Ghana. Built up some very good connections over here, and I was invited back to watch the tournament and come and watch some of the talent, the exciting young talent on show today. Like in the past, you've had Paulo Touré, you've had Yaya Touré, so we're quite familiar with Ivorian talent.
Through football, local businesses have had a breath of fresh air with the economy thriving during and after the Afcon.
There was still a great dynamic in terms of local businesses. With the Afcon, everyone wanted to invest, everyone wanted to create new things, new trends to take advantage of this event. Whether it was on the sporting aspect with the national team or also economic, it was really the Afcon of the people, the Afcon for the Ivorians. Everyone was involved in relation to that. It was a very good economic return for local businesses.
A year may be too soon to provide a holistic assessment of the true economic impact of hosting the 2023 Afcon for Ivory Coast. However, the positive signs are clear. Many stakeholders continue to benefit from the investments made by the government for the continental showpiece. Maybe, just maybe, in a few years, Ivorians may look back at the Afcon as the turning point for driving the football economy. Oreku Ampofo for TV3 from Abidjan, Ivory Coast.
You can follow 3 Sports for more of such interesting reports and documentaries and updates of sporting activities around the world. Time now for entertainment.
3 Israeli hostages have been handed to the Red Cross in Gaza before their transfer to Israel.
Hamas says for every hostage released, 30 Palestinian prisoners will be released from Israeli jails. The long-awaited ceasefire in Gaza came into force after a last-minute delay, with displaced Palestinians beginning to return to the cities they fled. Hamas attacked Israel on 7th October 2023, killing about 1,200 people and taking 251 back to Gaza as hostages. The attack triggered a massive Israeli offensive on Gaza, during which more than 46,900 Palestinians have been killed. Nigeria has been admitted as a partner country of the Brics bloc of developing economies, according to Brazil, the group's chair. Brics was formed by Brazil, Russia, India, and China in 2009, with South Africa added in 2010, as a counterweight to the group of 7 leading industrialized nations. Last year, the bloc added Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates. Saudi Arabia has been invited to join. Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Malaysia have formally applied to become members, and a few others have expressed interest. Nigeria becomes the 9th BRICS partner country, joining Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, and Uzbekistan. To East Africa now, and Kenya's Interior Minister Kipchumba Murkomen says the country has deployed another 217 police officers to Haiti as part of a multinational force to curb gang violence. Kenya first sent troops to the Caribbean nation in June, and the total deployment now exceeds 600. Kenya's President William Ruto has pledged to deploy 1,000 troops as part of the United Nations-backed force in Haiti. Gang violence has left more than 700,000 Haitians homeless in recent years, with many crowding into makeshift and unsanitary shelters after gunmen raised their homes.
Well, so that is international news, not entertainment. And talking about entertainment, right after the bulletin, we
Date Rush comes up.
Oh, the most anticipated show. Date Rush is back on your screens, 8 p.m. right after the bulletin. I am Martin Asiedudat.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Enjoy. Well, that was a good one. Yeah.
My way for to boost to Misicano. The mountain, now my way so. And I soon see my way for better on boost to Misica if you move Busumi. If it is 10, I could 28, it can so be just come.
Kwame, no my way no, I'm not told some Busumi bia.
Insurance no, we just 33 cities, 50 pesos Busumi bia. Now asem to me, 16,600. Now me save you 20 cities. And me to me Abribia me pay bia. Jimmy. My way there, see the bottle with Biano. When now also know what you. Now I feel Biano. Yeah, Nika when you say. Luciano Abekosuka crap. Now for Sudio Bene Wumudi. Ekosu baby.
So for insurance, Eda from Boko. I ne bonya dia. One in Kawajunim say, and no one in my